Hey, what's up guys? It's Pedro here from NoobCoder.com, and in this tutorial I want to talk about getting input from the user via the keyboard. So essentially what I want to do is prompt the user to enter their name, and then I am just going to get their input and then I'm going to display it to them back. So we haven't talked about classes really, but class is just a template that when I go to create an object, that object follows that template. And I know that's not going to make a lot of sense, but when we create our own classes, we're going to go into what makes a class and object creation and etc. So I have a class called scanner. I'm going to name it input. I'm going to say new scanner, and then it accepts a parameter and it's going to be called system.in. Now I'm creating a new scanner object, and this system.in is an input stream, and this input stream is just our keyboard, so it's going to let us get what the user enters from the keyboard. Now you realize that we're getting an error, and that's because we need to import the scanner class in order to use it. And just this import statement just says, hey, our Java application needs the scanner class. Please include it in our application so we can use it. So now what I can do now is I can prompt the user like I normally would do. So I could say, please enter your name. So now the user knows that they have to enter their name. And here I could create a variable called name, and now I can use this object input. So I could say input dot next line. And this is basically saying, hey, the next line the user enters, return it. So, and that is going to be of type string. That's why I'm storing it in a variable string called name. Now, once I get that, I can output to the user, hello, and then whatever their name is. So let's actually look at this in action. And we're actually getting an error still. And it's complaining about a resource leak and that input is never closed. So what we're doing is opening up a resource, and after we're done with that resource, it's just polite to close it. So I could say input.close. And you can see that Eclipse stops complaining about that. So now if I run this, the user is prompted, please enter your name. I messed up. I hit enter by accident. So it says, please enter your name. And now I could type Pedro, hit enter, and it says, hello, Pedro. So this object can do a lot more things. It does not need just a string. So to give you another example, let's say I want to do a basic calculator. I want the user to input two different numbers. How would I go about doing that? Well, this line is exactly the same because we want to read the keyboard input. And now I can say int num1 is assigned a value of input dot. And now you see we get a bunch of methods that we can use. And there's one that says next int. So the one we used previously was next line, and that returns a string. If you look at next int, you see that it returns an int. So that's exactly what I want. But first, let me prompt the user so the user actually knows what I want him to do. So I'm going to say, please enter a number. So then this gets prompted to the user, please enter a number. Now I'm getting what the user enters. I can now prompt the user for another number because I can't add one number to itself. Please enter another number. And now I can get the user's input again. num2 is assigned input dot next int. Now, before I actually finish this up, you see that we have autocomplete helping us, right? We can do different types. So next line is string, next int is int, next short, you can see it returns short. If I want a double, if I expect the user to enter a double, I could say next double, and you see the return type is double. So play around with this. The autocomplete should come up and you can see what you can actually do with this input object that we created. So getting back to this, I could say next int. And now I want to print out the result. So I could say num1 plus, make it pretty, just to show the user what he inputted, num2 plus, and then plus whatever the result is, so num1 plus num2. Okay, so this looks good. Let's, we forgot to close it. It's complaining about a resource leak. So don't forget to close it. Since we're done using it, hit the run button. Please enter a number. I'm going to enter 10. Please enter another number, 5. 10 plus 5 is 15. So I encourage you to play around with this, especially with the input object. Just add a dot to this, and then you can see all the methods will come out, and you could start experimenting with this on your own. So that's how you get input from the keyboard, and I hope you learned something, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Like, comment, subscribe.